Hello, everybody, and welcome to another MyMusic. Today, I'm going to be joined by someone I've been waiting to speak to, Kelli Blanchett. Thank you for joining me. And we've had a lovely little chat already, which is great. It's really nice when you can talk to people behind the scenes before we go on live and chat, because you get to know the person a little bit more.
Yeah.
You've got a lovely voice. I'm going to start there. You have an absolutely adorable voice. Okay. When did you discover that you could sing?
It's interesting you say that because somebody once said to me that I had a lovely singing voice and a horrible talking voice, which after a gig,
Cruel.
which is a funny
Cruel.
thing to say.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's all right. I'd always sang. My family is one of those families that like a musical family. Mum sang, dad sang. They were in a band together when they were young. And so my sister is an incredible singer, and she was the person that everyone was like, oh my God, her voice is incredible. And I like to sing, but I was a bit shy. So I didn't really, I mean, my nan and granddad owned a pub. They would shut from 3 till 6. And at 3 till 6, me and my sister would go down and sing on the karaoke for 3 straight hours every day. And we loved it. And so we were always singing, but I didn't really start to like find my sort of personal voice until I started playing guitar, which was when I was about 17. So that's how that kind of started.
Did you find that when you started to play guitar, did you find it natural to be able to play the guitar and sing at the same time? 'Cause it's quite a skill.
Well, that's another thing. Like I didn't know that because I found it very natural to do that. I didn't know that people found that difficult. I'm not somebody who's like soloing or anything like that. I'm playing chords, so it's easier rhythmically. It's easier to be able to do those two things together. But no, I'm one of these people I'm like not a massive like theorist. Everything I do is like it's all by ear, and it's like a natural sort of process. So I think the guitar thing I found like relatively easy to pick up. I didn't master it or anything, but I found it like relatively easy to sort of pick up. And then the reason I wanted to play it was so that I could sing along and sing songs and, sit at the computer and get chords and work out how to sing songs and stuff. So that was kind of the reason for it anyway.
Oh, I love that. That kind of mirrors me 100%.
Really?
Apart from the bit about actually finding it easy to sing and play at the same time. I've really always struggled with that. For some reason, my brain, if I'm strumming in a rhythm, my brain wants to then try and sing in that rhythm as opposed
Okay, I
to
see.
singing anything, that's counter to that. I just really struggle with that. So I'm great at sort of writing a song on the guitar.
Yeah.
And then I can sing over it properly if it's recorded and whatever, but trying to play it at the same time, that doesn't work for me.
See, I always think I'd be awful at playing bass and singing because the rhythm isn't obvious. Like they're two different rhythms. Like you sing differently to the melody would be very different to what you would be playing on the bass. I think I'd be an absolute nightmare at that.
No, you see, I found that the opposite.
Really?
I found this is so interesting, isn't it? I found that the opposite. If I'm playing bass, which I have done, I can sing over that and I can counter it and it's fine.
Wow.
For some reason, there's part of my brain that just finds, maybe it's because the guitar part is feels more of the melodic chordal part, whereas the bass is more rhythmic, and therefore I don't know. I honestly don't understand it. I don't understand brains, full stop, really. I mean,
I don't want to understand the brain. I don't want to know.
You say that, but you were talking to me earlier about how your brain works, and and we're all wonderfully different in terms of where our brain works. Does the way that your brain works and that whole idea about how we think, does that permeate into how you write at all?
That's an interesting question, actually. I'm not so sure it's about the way that we think that I seem to be writing about, but more, I think the way that I write is very, very like emotional. And so on some like deeper level, yeah, it probably is, questioning reasons why people do things, or, there's that sort of like everybody's different. And so it can be confusing sometimes when people choose to do things in a certain way. So it's not like a conscious thing. It's almost like a byproduct of like an emotional experience, if that makes sense.
Are you quite an emotional person, would you say?
Well, I definitely was. As in my 20s, I was a, you know, what you like in your 20s, you know, it's a very intense, everything's a very intense experience. And as I've gotten a bit older, I cry more these days. I didn't really cry in my 20s. I was just a very heightened emotional person.
Mm.
But as I've gotten older, I'd say I've calmed down emotionally, done like a lot of therapy. And I'm now like, I can't watch an advert, you know, without having a cry or something. I'm very triggered by things in a way that I wasn't in my 20s. So yeah, yes and no. I'm definitely like a feeler, but I think I might come
Yeah,
across like a
I get
bit, what's
I
the right
get told
word?
off for
Like,
that. I get told off for that in my house,
what do
right?
you
Because
mean?
well, I literally I'll cry at anything on the TV,
Oh,
right?
really? I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I guess why sometimes I get told off for it is because maybe I don't know, there'll be something on the TV, or we'll be watching a film or something at the cinema, and I'll be choking up. Everybody else is okay. And I'll get really, really quite emotional about it. But then sometimes I won't necessarily get that emotion in real life with people. Do
Yes.
you know what I mean?
I'm I'm the same as that. I'm exactly the same. I can see something on TV or a film or whatever, and I'll be very emotional about it, and it'll be very like instantaneous. But in real life, I feel like, and I don't know if this is like an ADHD thing, but what's something I've read about ADHD is like in the moment you can cope with like quite intense things, and it's not till later. It's almost like a coping mechanism thing. Like an ADHD thing is to be quite like I'm quite able to cope with things, and then I'll sort of like ruminate on it, and then I'll feel like emotional about it later down the line.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had a car crash at the beginning of the year, and there was four of us
Whoa,
in the car, and
that's
yeah, it was
scary.
yeah, and it was really quite an intense crash, and like
Wow.
everybody else in the car was like crying and really upset and whatever, and I was kind of like, okay, just is everybody okay? Is everybody like right? Yeah, and then I just got out the car. Right. And then I just started organizing people. Like I was organizing the
Yeah.
police and the fire. I go into organizing mode. Are you like that? Are you an
Yeah.
organizing person?
I'm a main organized person. I am. I've got a real like fight or flight, extreme fight or flight. So me and my partner, we went to Spain to go and visit my mum years ago. It was like the first time he'd like sort of met my family. And like, there's a funny thing because we've got a bit of a class divide going on. Like, I'm from a working class background, he's from a middle class background. So I took him to Alicante to come and see my mum's place. And we ended up in this, and we went to this pub, and it was, you know, full of like expats and fine. It was really nice. And then we were having a drink, and this fight started out of nowhere. And it was like this guy had ripped open my stepdad's shirt, and there was like somebody had thrown a beef tomato, and there was like seeds everywhere. It was mad. I ran away, like I literally physically ran away. My partner had to stay and just sort of like pretend to back up my stepdad because he was like, I don't know what to do. But it was funny how most people, I think, are able to sort of like bring their emotions down slightly and be in the moment, and they can like be a bit more chill. I just couldn't, I just was out of there. I was gone without even thinking about it. And so I wouldn't say I'm an organizer. I'm definitely like, I've got a real, like, I'll run away, I think is my vibe.
Oh,
I know.
now listen, before we get right into your music,
Hmm.
I want to talk about how people find music these days, because I've got an interesting story for you.
Hmm.
Okay. So my daughter found your music from this is gonna blow your mind, right? So you did a song for a that was in a TV series,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
One of the characters in that TV series was also in a film recently, The Faraway Tree.
Yes, Nicola.
Yes, playing
Yeah.
Pixie, right? So she found your music because she went, "That's Pixie," right, from the faraway tree in that picture. Wonder what that music sounds like.
That's so funny.
Isn't it weird how music is found these days?
Well, it's interesting because I never know how people find. I get emails from people being like, "Do you want to play this gig?" And I'm like, "How have they found my?" I don't ask, but I probably should ask because it's interesting, how people find music these days. I find it baffling. It's like different from when I was younger, um, and I don't even know how I find music these days. Oh, do you know what? We just have YouTube on in the background all the time, and it will kick up like a tiny desk session or something. And then I'll be like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I love those tiny desk sessions,
Me
don't
too.
you?
They're so
Yeah.
good.
Which is your favourite ever one?
Well, the one that keeps continuously playing, coming back onto the screen is Waxahachie, their newest.
Oh,
Yeah. And that keeps coming on and I never turn it off because I just enjoy it so much.
yeah.
It's not like my favorite, it's not the most like emotional performance, but I don't know, there's just something, the songs are amazing and the sort of like the musicianship between them is so good. I never turn it off and it keeps coming back on and I'm always like, I'll just keep it running.
Yeah, their last album was one of my favourite. When was it? Last year or the year
Yeah,
before?
last year or maybe
Yeah,
2020, maybe
it
end of
might have.
2020. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If
So good.
people, if you haven't heard the album yet, please do go and check that out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of faultless, really. Is that your kind of music? What do you listen to as a listener?
Oh, I actually quite like listening to old stuff. So I like listening to like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I like to
Oh,
listen to
Deja Vu.
yes. I keep putting that on and I'm like to my partner, like, isn't this amazing? And he's like, yeah,
It's
it's
all
pretty
right.
good. And I'm like, no, but listen. And then I was showing him this clip of them in the studio, and I think it's just Crosby, Stills, and Neil Young are doing the harmonies for I think it's Helpless.
Yeah,
I think it's that. I can't remember. And it's just like so fascinating to watch. And they're so I also sing with Self Esteem, the artist Self Esteem, and we do like lots of harmony work. And so watching them in the studio doing these harmonies was so fascinating to watch. They just clicks, when you're doing harmonies, you do have to click with each other. And they were just clicking in this way that was giving me like goosebumps. So I listened to like a lot of old stuff and then
yeah,
some sort of like, I don't know, we have a real eclectic mix in this house. It depends what mood we're in. But
yeah.
I would
How did
say
the
mainly that.
self-esteem thing come about? How did the self-esteem thing come about? Because
Yeah.
that's quite a gig.
Yeah, well, so I followed Rebecca because I used to like Slow Club when I was younger.
Oh
Followed
yeah,
Rebecca on Instagram, and she put a call out being like, does anybody, I'm looking to start a new project. I'm looking for like, um, I think she was like looking for two girls who can sing and aren't like shy. And I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna give her a message. So I messaged her and she was like, oh, just send me anything of you singing. So I sent her some SoundCloud stuff I'd written like years ago.
yeah,
And she
yeah,
was like, oh, I love your voice. Like, I'd love you to come and sort of like be part of it and see how it feels and stuff. And then another girl joined and that didn't quite work out. And then it went through a few iterations and then but I stayed. Um, and then me and her just became really close. So we're like best friends now. But we sort of got really close really quickly. We're from similar backgrounds, similar age, similar experiences. We just sort of really clicked. And so I stayed in self-esteem. So I got chronically ill in 2018, end of 2018. And so I was doing it from the start of 2017, like the very first sort of seeds of it. But then I got ill, so I couldn't tour anymore. So I remained doing all the recording work, and I would do some like TV and bits like that. But I've never really been able to get back into touring again because it's just too much for my poorly brain. So it's been good because it's doing the recording work is great for me. It's a perfect place for me to sit. So I've been doing it, yeah, since then, and just from like a call out, and then we've just become like bezies since then. So I've been involved with the project since the start.
It's a great project as well, isn't it? It's very empowering for, especially for women. I mean, you know, I sometimes wonder watching it. I mean, I watched her. I think it was live at Glastonbury last time
Yeah.
Glastonbury was on, etc. And I sometimes wonder. I wonder what some of the men in the audience are making of this.
I just think, who cares what men think?
Well,
No.
yeah, no, go for it. Absolutely right. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, for me, it's great to see it. Okay, I feel empowered by that, and I feel like that's where women's voice should be. But you know, from like listening to some people online,
Mm.
and you do wonder what some of my
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
end of the species are doing. But you do wonder whether, like, some people in that audience aren't feeling a little bit
Awkward?
awkward at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the thing
hope
is,
so.
well, yeah, probably. And I think that, like, if you're going to a gig at like a festival, it's very different to buying tickets to a gig. You know, you're not being like, it's not purposeful. You know, you might have just wandered in there. And so I think like the guys who get it, and the guys who don't, you know, like, and I just
Yeah,
think, I'm sure that there'll be like men that walk in there and they think like, oh, this is fun. And then they'll hear the lyrics and they'll be like, oh, actually,
Ooh,
like, no, thank you. Who does she think she is, you know? Um, and I kind of like, I'm happy that it's polarizing. Like, you know, I kind of feel like that's kind of the point.
it really is kind of the point. I mean, the worst thing is if they just don't care. Really, I mean, that you know,
Mm.
do you feel like, as a musician putting music out in
Hmm.
2026, do you feel like that is part of the problem sometimes, is that people
Hmm.
just don't care?
Yeah. I mean, we're in a different landscape to what we used to be in, even sort of like 5 or 6 years ago. I've found releasing music this time like harder. I did an EP back in 2021, I think, and Rebecca produced it. And it was the first time I'd ever like put anything out. And it was a bunch of songs that I had written ages ago that I hadn't really done anything with. And Rebecca was like, you need to sort of get these together and we'll produce them. And so I did. And we went up to Sheffield and we did that. And that I had no understanding of the industry. I had no understanding of like how to release something, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to get on the radio, none of that stuff. But it kind of fell into place anyway. Um, and this time I had to, there was more like, so I'm with a distributor, I got a publisher. It's more like, right, this is, we need to like crack the algorithm and you need to do this and you need these
Yeah,
presets, you need to do blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it felt like a full-time job this time. And I would say that like, even though I've got way more plays than the first time round, it's felt more sticky.
yeah,
And it, you know, I was speaking to somebody, an A&R person last week, and we were talking about how to break through. And he was saying to me, there is just nobody knows. He said it's just no one knows anymore, and it is the only way you can guarantee that you might break through and you might get an audience is just to like literally post content every single day. And this is what I keep hearing all the time. And I've been like in really two minds about whether I want to or not. Because I'm like, I'm not a super young person. And the music I make is not, it's quite sad. It's quite like sad, melancholic, like, you know, tackling relatively like deep things. And I'm like, right, well, how do I make that work as like content and like with integrity? And I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think he's probably right. And that I will have to start actually like posting about it on TikTok and Reels, and that I'm not hugely into that. And I think not because I'm not into it, if that makes sense. It just seems like a lot for my brain to, I'm like, right, I've got to think of like a concept and do this thing and spend a whole day recording. And I just feel like he's
well,
probably right.
I'm going to empower you right now. I
Go
don't think
on.
he's right. I don't think he's right at all.
Really?
Yeah, and this is my gig. This is literally my day job, right? So
Mhm.
I honestly, and this is kind of what I'm preaching out there. So kind of stop the music part of the podcast now. Let's just go into business for 1 second, right? He's completely wrong, because if you just keep posting out there right? You're posting into you're basically posting into an ocean,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to post into a pond, right?
Yes.
Because if you post into a pond, people actually see everything
Yeah.
you post. I wrote about this on LinkedIn this morning. I gave people the actual figures. I said, do you realize that 90% of people that you put out a post to won't actually read your post?
Yeah.
90% of people, they'll see it, but they won't read it.
Yeah.
Right?
They're not engaging with it.
This is a fact, right? What I'm busy doing at the moment is I'm busy helping people build communities. That's the way to do it, is to build a community. Now, you can put something out there which helps people find your community.
Yes.
Right? But actually trying to infiltrate the ocean is just a waste of time, because everybody's doing that. Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at, even with some of the top artists, if you look at some of the ways that they're actually building their pond, right, and bringing people into their pond, they're doing it differently now, right? So, for example, Jessie Ware just released her new album, but what's she been doing? She's been doing her own podcast. Her own podcast leads to her community. Her community leads to her music. Right? It makes so much more sense. You don't have to then be producing stuff day in, day out. What you need to be doing is you need to be just focusing on finding the people that like your music by going out there and looking at the kind of people that might like your music, right? And then invite those people one by one. You build a community one by one into a community. Now, once you've got them there, every single word sticks. Every word.
Yeah, because you need more than just, exactly. You don't want to be shouting out into like the void. There needs to be engagement there.
Purpose, right? And actually, then you start enjoying it. Yeah. All the people that I'm working with, they enjoy it so much more, because they go, actually, now every single post that I put out each week or every day or whatever, it's landing with people and people are responding to it, and I'm getting feedback, and I know that I'm building relationships.
Yeah.
And that feels like it matters. Right?
Well, it's fulfilling, isn't it? Like it makes you, it's the same as doing any job where there's like an actual result to something and you go, oh, that's made me feel good.
Absolutely. On the TikTok side of things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've started cracking it this year. TikTok, don't worry about the post so much, right? Just go live. Go live.
I heard this.
Yeah. No, seriously, just go live and mindset wise, this is what it was for me. I couldn't get it for ages. I was like going on there, I was doing like little posts about pedaling around on the guitar and all of this sort of stuff, right? And some of them landed, some of them didn't. Now I've completely got it. I mean, I do put clips from here on there. All right. But you know what actually lands is I go on, I do lives, and I'm slowly but surely, you build up people that want to come and listen to you, and I just treat it mentally. I treat it like a radio show. That's the way to treat it.
Yeah, I guess you're like, if you're live broadcasting, like I had a friend that worked at TikTok and she was literally saying the same thing, which is like live's where it's at, really. Again, I mean, I will get around to working on this stuff. I've already released the EP, so I'm in a bit of a weird space. So I'm gonna hopefully do some touring, because I've not been very well this year. I'm hopefully going to do some touring either towards the end of this year or the start of next year. And then I'm gonna in conjunction start actually like working out how to get my audience together and do the content side of things. That's my plan.
Where are you gonna take it? Where are you hopefully going to tour?
Well, just a UK tour. I was in like, I mean, I've done a couple of like support tours and stuff like that. And it's really interesting leaving London. I've lived in London for a long time, been here for 18 years. It's my home and I love it. But I will say that like the audiences in London are very different to the audiences outside of London. And so when I went up to York and when I went up to Nottingham, and when people come out and they're there to come and they listen and they're like really engaging with it. Whereas in London, I think because it's so fast paced all the time and you've got 1,000 things on your doorstep, you can be a bit like, you're chatting to your mate a bit at the back with your wine and it's got a different vibe. And she's a hard nut to crack, London, but I love her. But I feel like outside, it feels very different, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it was interesting because it was like a lot of like older audiences come into stuff as well. And I think you always think of yourself as like young, and I realized that I'm getting a bit older and that my audience is changing slightly, and not because I'm getting older, but just like the music that I'm making, and like yeah, maybe because I am like a little bit older, but like it was really nice. And I was like, oh, this is an engaged audience who want to pay for gig tickets and come to things. And like, there was this little part of me that was like, could I do a tour where I go to like ex-industrial towns and ex-industrial cities and stuff? Because I'm from an ex-steel town, and we never got anybody come and do any gigs or anything. But the infrastructure has to be there for you to go and do it. And sadly, the grassroots venues are dying. And so,
where you need to come, which like loads of artists avoid, but actually when they come, they find a great experience. And I actually went to see Jessica Hoop. Do you know Jessica Hoop?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah. At this very venue, which is Lyme Regis, which is not far from me. It's literally on the seafront, down in the southwest of England, Dorset.
Oh, it's down there. Yeah, I'm not a West girly.
You see, well, yeah, but that's why you need to come. So it's literally, so you can literally put your hand outside the venue and get your fish and chips and hear the sea. But people down here have got such a thirst for artists, especially of your type of music, because we have a big folk tradition, and people will sit and listen to a proper song. Do you know what I'm saying down here?
No, I totally get what you're saying.
So I think that's one of the reasons she picked down here as well, because her performance is really sort of me guitar and you know, not people up and dancing, but people really sitting into it. And no, I think she really enjoyed it. And as I say, sitting by the sea doesn't hurt either. It's good for the soul. So
no, I agree. I mean, we just came back we went to Deal a couple of weeks ago in Kent, and it's so nice. It's only 2 hours in the car from here as well, like door to door. We were like, let's just go, and it was amazing, and it was such a nice. It had like an arty, crafty feel near the sea. It's got like a record store, and then there was like a gig venue down in Walmer, which everybody seemed to like go to, like similarly to what you're saying, which engaged audiences. Because we went to the record shop for a pint, and because I've got a bar in there, and I overheard all these people talking about like, oh, who's going to be on at the Lighthouse in Walmer on whatever, and it was like, God, I don't hear that in London. No. No one talks like, you book a gig months in advance and go to something, but you don't get off the cuff, shall we just go and see who's on at the Lighthouse tonight? And I think we're missing a bit of that. And when I go and do some touring, I mean, it'd be better for me where I am at the moment to do a support tour with somebody. So I need to sort of get on that really. But yeah, the smaller venues, the little grassroots ones, like they're the nicest ones to play.
Well, I'll give you the name of it afterwards and the contact details, and you never know. Maybe we'll see you down this neck of the woods sometime soon. Tell people what you've got out at the moment. So
I released my EP in was it the start of May? Yeah, the start of May. So it got pushed back. So it's 5 songs with like an intro. And I spent last year in May recording it. I'd written it. I'd written most of it, and we recorded it in May. And it's a 5-track record based around me being ill. And I had a really bad year in 2023. I was super, super ill. And it was just like such a crazy year. It was such a crazy year. And I was stuck in the house for about 8 months of it. And I've at times in my life, I've found writing songs difficult. And what happened after that year, it just fell out of me. It just fell out of me. It felt just very obvious what I needed to like make. And it was just coming out like a sort of diary or something. And so it's like it's definitely like a melancholic EP. It's got like a country folk like twinge to it, but I also like I love I love melodies. I'm obsessed with melodies, and so like I wanted to make sure that it felt like melodic still, because I think sometimes when you can make like, you know, inverted commas sad music, I think we can often like lean into the sort of like discordant, like very minor vibe, and I'm just such a sucker for like a like hook and a melody that I wanted to sort of do both of those things.
Yeah, and they're beautiful tunes. Do you
Thank you.
feel like actually having got them out, has it helped you?
It's a good question. Has it helped me? It's helped me understand who I am as a musician and as an artist and as a writer. Definitely. I was a bit lost, I think, before that. I had these songs floating about and these ideas and stuff, and I had no idea sonically like what am I trying to do, because I like so many different genres of music, and it was like it could go this way, it could go that way. And I thought, you know, I've met quite a lot of like musicians and managers and artists and all sorts during my time, and some of the stuff that I was told when I was younger in my 20s was like, you just have to like sort of stay in your lane. Like, you don't, if something comes out and this is how it sounds, that's who you are, and like lean into that. And that's, I always played electric. I was always playing electric guitar when I was on stage. And I just thought, you know what? I want this to sound like folky and country, and it needs the acoustic guitar. Because I tried it on electric to start off with, and my partner was like, yes, it sounds good, but and then I played it. I played a gig in it last year in Nottingham, and it was the first time I'd like sort of tried some of the songs out, and I did it with an acoustic, and I just knew instantly, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so this EP has been incredibly helpful for me in like many different ways. I don't know if it's been like cathartic, or I don't know if it's been like helpful for me to like process my emotions, but it's been like, what's the right way to put it?
It's
I don't
kind
know.
of oxidized who you are as a musician. Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of,
definitely. Like I needed it, you know, like
yeah,
I needed it, and it's been really, really helpful for me to grow as an artist.
that if you're putting out material that does that
Mm,
and kind of takes you along your own personal journey of writing,
yeah.
that's as important as anything else.
Oh my God, massively. Because you know, you can't really grow as an artist without making stuff,
You know,
and that's not that easy because
or
you have to
otherwise you're
really,
not an artist, are you? Really,
well,
you're,
exactly. You know, you can write songs and play them, but if you, that's one thing. But go into a recording studio and being like, okay, this is what I'm trying to make. This is the sound I'm trying to create. Let's like put these organs on it. Let's get these violin. You know, that's when you hone in your craft, I think.
yeah, no, 100%. And you know, the best artists in the world are those that keep making, keep making, keep making,
Mm.
even if some of it doesn't work. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter, you
yeah.
know.
Which some it won't. I mean, there's going to be times it doesn't. That's just the way. That's just a numbers game.
It really is. Last question then. So you'd love to get a support slot. Who would you like to support?
Do you know? I knew you were going to ask this. I thought as soon as I
You
said
kind
this,
well, you kind of asked it yourself, so it's
I know it's my own fault.
uh,
I mean, Laura Marling. Come on,
oh right, yeah.
I love her. I've been following her since she first started doing music, and
Mm,
I just think she's like the GOAT. She just like, oh, I just think she's amazing. You know, maybe Waxahachie, or you know, these are
yeah, yeah.
it's like dream people that you. I mean, Gillian Welch, like, you know, something like that would be like my dream. But you know, the way that it works is there's all these big artists that you would love to like tour with in the, you know, at some point, but obviously there's like a rung below that, which are the people that you would, you know, probably be able to get on a tour with.
Yeah.
And so I need to sort of like, I feel like I'm not plugged into the community enough, and that's something that I need to sort of start doing more of.
Well, I've got some names that I'll probably give you
Oh,
after. I think there are a few people that have been on here that are kind of at that
yeah,
mid-tier level,
yeah,
who, you know, are kind of making their names for
yes,
themselves, who I feel like, you know, would be enough of a draw, especially if they came over here. One that springs to mind is Hayley
mhm.
Reardon.
Don't know who
I
that
don't know
is.
whether don't know. Well, she
Mm.
played for Ed Sheeran.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll
Mhm.
show you the clip afterwards, and you can
Great.
see it. But I feel like your styles would match, and but she's from America, and if we could
Mhm.
get her over here, I feel like
Yeah.
that could, you know.
I feel like the American artists are doing more music that's closer to mine in like sonically.
I
That's one of
think
the
so.
things I've noticed is over here there's not so much of this like Americana folk country stuff going on. Like in America they get it. And when I was looking at my streams on like, you know, on the streaming platforms, I was like, there's so much of it in America. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's interesting. And like when you apply to go onto playlists, loads of the American ones were like, oh yeah, because it's that music's happening over there in a big way.
yeah, and I think maybe that's something to investigate as well, which is
Mhm.
like, which of the American stations can you get on? You know,
Yes.
if you start talking to some more American artists, like
Yeah. Yeah, my dream
who
is to
do you know?
well, exactly. I'm like, okay, this is the thing, like it's all doable. It's just like a lot of work, particularly at the start, and it gets easier the more you get in with people and you know stuff. And like I've been quite lucky. Like I played a really nice I played like a set of gigs with Ruth Leon, who is an artist from Newcastle. Um, and then um, and then another artist called, oh my god, Galen. I don't know if you know her. She won the
No, I
Tiny
don't.
Desk competition a couple of years
Wow.
ago, and I went on tour with her last year. So it's been difficult for me because um, I don't know, like I'm not amazingly well, and I'm still trying to get on top of that. I'm hoping by the end of this year, with like I'm seeing like a new specialist, and like I'm hoping by the end of this year things will be like a bit easier for me, and then I can sort of get on with actually like touring and stuff like that next year, which is like it feels like on paper that would happen.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope part of the advice that you get in terms of your rehabilitation and whatever is visit the seaside in the West Country. That would be great.
Yeah, well, yeah, we go to the West Country sometimes because my partner's from Bath.
All right. Well,
Um,
there you go. Just down the road. There
Yeah,
you
well,
go.
it's so nice. It's so nice. Like I'm from the east of the country. We never went west, and then we've been going west, and I'm like, oh my God, it's really nice here.
It's very different, isn't it, as well? It's
Very different.
very, very
It's so
different.
nice. We went to Frome, and I was like, okay, it's
Oh,
nice here.
yeah. There's great venue in Frome.
Oh, is
Cheese and
there?
Grain. Cheese and Grain. Yep.
Okay, great
Look
to
that
know.
one up. Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, it's been beautiful having you on today.
Well, thanks for having
Um, thank you for coming along. We shall put, for anyone that's watching this on Spotify, some of your music, in fact, your EP, just there so that people can literally just move their thumb and press, and then they're
me.
listening to you. And if you're enjoying it, folks, do both add that to a playlist of your own, but then stop and talk to Kelli on the social media and say hi, and say, actually, if you do start a community, I'd love to be part of it, because that's where it starts.
Yeah,
That is where it
I do,
starts.
I do love a little chat on Insta. So
Yeah.
you
Which
know,
then it's about where perhaps you can take those people so that you can actually, you know, build that up
yeah,
one person at a time, because
yeah.
that's all that matters. That really is all that matters. We will be back soon with more My Music. But until then, from Kelli and myself, I hope you've enjoyed today's conversation. Bye for now.